After traveling to Ghana together on the mission field in 2016, Elder Derek Maye and his wife, Overseer Patrice, came back with an urgency to manifest. They desired to be homeowners.
On Wednesday night, November 30th, Bishop preached a message on matured faith. He said, you don't have to do it. You just need to believe he can do it. And when he said that, it's as if my faith latched hold to that word, that prophetic word that came out of the man of God's mouth, and I leaped from my seat and I said, that's it. And from that moment forward, I had a confidence that this was the Lord's doing.
And God honored their boldness with supernatural favor.
So one of the things on Christmas night, December 25th, of 2016, my wife and I were fellowshipping with her family, and we were sitting there playing a board game or something like that, just having fun, and my phone goes off. I checked my phone, and it was an email that had come in from Credit Karma, and it says your credit score has changed. And mind you, it had been stuck and sitting at a certain level for years because I had done absolutely nothing with credit. I checked my credit score, and my credit score had supernaturally jumped 120 points. With no effort from me, I hadn't made any calls, hadn't established any credit lines, nothing. Supernaturally, 120 points, my credit score jumped, which put me above the area that I needed to be in to be considered for home ownership.
The higher credit score put the Mayes in a better financial position, but they had a sudden battle to overcome: a bill from the IRS for $25,000 in back taxes.
Even in this process, the warfare that came with all of a sudden, we were working with a letter of compromise with the IRS. Things were going one way, and then all of a sudden they want all the money all at once. Understanding those were the funds that were our intentions to use for down payment, closing costs, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's like, what do you do with this? So with any decision we made throughout this process, we would often check in with our bishop.
Mm-hmm.
The Mays were able to move forward with designing and building their new home, but the process to gain mortgage approval took several months. During that process, someone else put a contract on the house.
At this point, to be honest with you, we're holding on to our faith. I would love to sit here and tell you that we both were, walking around and we had our faith capes on and we were still, but we could feel the tension. We didn't say anything, but you could feel the weight. Like, man, what are we gonna do? But we got a word from God through our man of God. You don't have to do it. You just need to believe he can do it. And so, but eventually they closed, and when we got word of it, I sent the man of God a text to let him know what had taken place. But I shared, this house is not an idol.
Hallelujah.
God owns it all.
Yes.
And the man of God's response was, that's good. Your faith can work better when you don't put God in a box.
And what looked like a setback became a setup for a bigger blessing. The Mays continued to trust God in their search for a new home.
As I'm looking online for other houses, I see this house. And when we first saw the house, it was listed at a certain price. And then one day I decided to just go back and look at this house again, and it had dropped $15,000 and bought it just beneath what our threshold was. And for me, I said, wow, God, I see you moving. Because in that first house, there were things that the house that we had built, things that were beyond our price point, to be honest with you, what we were looking at spending, although we had a desire for some of those things. We had a desire for a paved patio, with a fire pit. I've been having a desire for a basement for almost 20 years. But we didn't do that in that home that we had built, because that would have been an additional like $55,000 for an unfinished basement. We didn't put stone around the fireplace in that particular home because of the cost. We decided to put our money into other areas in the house. But in this home, the Lord has blessed us with, we have the paved patio with a huge fire pit. We have a basement Praise God. We have, as you can see in the background, we have the stone around the fireplace. And so God did all of this home. We actually closed on December 15th, which was the day of the Helps Ministry banquet. And so here we were a year later after putting down a little more than a year later after putting the initial deposit to secure the lot for the other home that we had built. It didn't necessarily, that one didn't manifest, but what God has blessed us with is exceeding abundantly above all we could ask or think. That first house was 3,100 square feet. Well, this house, what's finished, is a little more than 2,600 square feet, but the basement, when we finish that's gonna give us a little over 3,700 total square feet. The first house was a 0.37 acre lot. The home that the Lord blessed us with, 1.85 acres.
5 times.
5 times, exactly 5 times more than the house that we had built. And all for $113,000 less than the house that we had built before. And so to God be the glory. We're here. We're thankful. We give God the praise, the glory, the honor. Bishop and co-pastor, thank you so much for your tutelage, for your coaching. Bishop, thank you. I mean, man, words can't even put into. I mean, we have a real spiritual father who walked us through and mother. I'm sorry, yes. And mother. I guess I said that because most of my conversations were with Bishop, but co-pastor was right in there with us. Things that she ministered to us through the word. It's like the Lord was just using both of them to constantly confirm time after time that he was with us in this process, and we knew that they were with us. We could feel their agreement, literally. And so we just thank God. We give him all of the glory for the great things that he has done. And we know that there's more to come. So what's next?